What is up, guys? This is Janis from Driven by Goal, helping you to achieve your goals. In today's episode, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my book. Obviously, it's pretty much the content is written up, and now it's the hardest bit. It needs to be arranged, it needs to be fluent, it needs to flow, it needs to deliver the message, and it needs to explain the concepts. So my plan today is to sit down and really go through the content, to draw the outline, and to really understand in what direction I want to take it. I believe it's going to take majority of my time today. I definitely gonna be doing it tomorrow because this is going to be one of the main tasks for quite a bit of a time. I don't know, probably a couple of weeks or so. I'm gonna keep my voice level quite low because I'm in a library right now, and either side of me there is people working and studying, so I don't want to disturb them in any way. So I'll try to keep it low. I mean, as low as I can, and of course making sure that you can hear me, guys. So in today's video, I want to talk about my upcoming book. The book is going to be called Foundation. It is going to be a personal development book about how to achieve your goals and what techniques to use to stay motivated, to stay energized, and how to achieve your goals in general. So the book will contain from 9 big chapters, which I will break down today and let you know what chapters I'm going to be writing about. So let's get into it. The first chapter is energy. In this chapter, I talk about 2 main things, which is nutrition and exercise, and how combining these 2 things you can have a higher energy levels. And what this will enable you to do is to be more productive during your day, instead of being, tired and unmotivated. Having higher energy levels will actually help you to stay motivated, more focused, more creative. The chapter number 2 is about influence. In this chapter, I talk about how things are influencing yourself and your goals. It is important to understand that simple things as a hunger or how much sleep you have had can influence your ability to achieve your goals. And if you overlook this thing, then you might be wondering why you are not, achieving your goals, and therefore, you don't have the results what you expect to have. So I'm going to be looking at how you can influence yourself, how to become better yourself. And also in the later part of the chapter, I talk about how to influence other people, therefore helping you to achieve your goals faster. Chapter number 3 is environment. And I think environment is really, really important piece of the puzzle. If we talk about personal development, achieving goals, or anything else where you want to grow. When you're spending time in a good environment, it's uplifting, it's positive, and you're more likely to achieve so much more better results if you're spending the time in a good environment. Whereas if you're in a bad environment, it's so much more harder to achieve things. I don't want to say it's impossible, because it is possible and people have done it, but why not give you a favor and create a good environment around yourself? And this is what I'm going to be talking in this chapter. I do break down 3 types of environments in this chapter, which is number 1 is a physical environment. That is where we spend our time. Like at the moment, I can choose where I want to be, and instead of being at home, I choose to be in the library. It's just because I find myself so much more productive, less distracted, then I can do so much more work when I'm in the library. Whereas I could be spending the time at the home, but I know when I'm at home in my physical environment, there's always something else I have to do. There is that I want to make that tea, I want to just tidy up that, and there is always something to do. So I find myself distracted all the time. So therefore, when I have opportunity and chance, I always choose to spend time working in library. So that's what I'm doing now. Number 2 is social environment. That is probably the biggest one. If we talk about environments, these are the people you spend your time with. If you spend your time with the people who are not encouraging you, inspiring you, then you're gonna find it very hard to achieve your goals. But I'm gonna go so much more in detail about that in the book, about how to analyze it and how to spend more time in a good environment. And number 3 is internal environment. I don't want to discuss too much about that because one of the following chapters will be particularly on internal environment. But it's equally important. It's important to have peace of mind, because you can find a good environment. You can come to the library. You won't have any bad social environment around you. But if you can't be fine within your mind, then you won't be able to concentrate and focus on your tasks. The chapter number 4 is the mindset. The mindset in my book will contain from 3 following things: the mindset itself, then it's power of beliefs, because beliefs are another important thing that are influencing us. If we have limited beliefs, we won't try, we won't do the things. So we have to make sure we don't have limiting beliefs that are holding us back. And number 3 in this chapter is subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, I talk about workings of subconscious mind, how to influence it. Again, it's not straightforward because subconscious mind takes in information in different way. So you have to train it, you have to develop it. One very important fact when we talk about subconscious mind and conscious mind is that subconscious mind is responsible for about 90% of our daily activities and behaviors. 90%. That means 90% of the things that you do are done by your subconscious mind. So think about it, how important is that? And you can take advantage of that, and you can train your subconscious mind to contribute, to help you to achieve your goals, to get further in life, and so forth. So we're going to go in detail about that. Chapter number 5 is obstacles. In this chapter, I talk about 3 main obstacles in your life and how to get ready for them, as well as how to deal with them. And these 3 things are: number 1, excuses. We all love to make excuses. We are just designed to make excuses. I tried to make excuse to myself today why I should make this vlog, why I should do it day after, why should I do it tomorrow. But it's important you catch yourself when you try to make excuse and really put your values forward and think, do I need to do it today? Number 2 is worries. We spend so much time worrying about the things we cannot do anything about. It's just draining us and not getting us anywhere. And number 3, the third obstacle is procrastination. Another big thing to do with the productivity. I love to procrastinate if I can, so I have to keep an eye on myself to make sure I don't procrastinate. Generally, in this topic, I'm going to be describing situations and techniques how to avoid these 3 main obstacles that are stopping you from achieving your goals. And the most important thing is to be aware of them and be prepared, because for definite, I know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, they will come. And if I don't have an action plan in the place, how am I gonna avoid them? I'm gonna fall for them. So it's very, very important to to have an action plan for them. And that's what I'm giving in this chapter, where I talk about techniques to apply if you feel you're making excuses, or how to recognize that you're making excuses or procrastinating, and how to improve that. The chapter number 6 is motivation. The motivation is like very big thing. Everybody, just looking for how to get motivated. Yeah. But I think the motivation is not the thing that you get. It's more like a reason why you do something. So for me, there are 3 main things how the people are getting motivated. Number 1 is they are inspired. They just love something. They just love to do something. And that's probably the best way of how to go about the things, to love what you do. That's a goal for probably everybody on this earth, to love what they do. The second thing is to be incentivized. Obviously, people love being incentivized, and that's why we're going to work, to earn money, because we're incentivized to do the work. So then we have, so then we can pay the bills. And number 3, we are motivated when we have unbearable pain. When there is something that just needs to be done, we will get off our ass and we will go and do it, because there is no other way. If you don't want to do something, but then it comes so bad that you just cannot afford it, not to do it, then you're eventually gonna go and do it. And these are pretty much 3 main things, how the things get done. And these are the things what motivates us. And I like to put myself in situations where I have to get something done. I make a promise. I will say to myself, or preferably somebody else, then I'm gonna get it done by that and that time. And what that will do is that is gonna motivate me to achieve that. The chapter number 7 is failure. And the failure is that thing that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody just wants to forget about it and not tell anyone. But I think that's a wrong approach, because the failure is always going to be part of our life, we want it or not. I just think failure is something that is pointing us to the direction where we need to improve. So if we tried something and it didn't work out, obviously it wasn't good enough. So what you have to do, you have to learn and you have to try again. And another very important thing from failure is realizing its value, because every time you fail, you learn, you take away experience, you take away knowledge, and that is going to help you next time to succeed. So definitely don't take failure as something bad. Of course, everybody wants to succeed, but just because you failed doesn't mean you have to stop, because that is one of the things that what is holding people back, a lot of people back. But those who succeeded always said then they failed and failed and failed, and eventually they succeeded. And that was a one-off situation. They succeeded and now they're on the top. Chapter number 8 is focus. And in this chapter, I talk about how to get focused. Very simple, right? But I also talk about self-discipline and how to cultivate self-discipline, how to develop it, because self-discipline is one of the cornerstones of having a great focus. Because if you're self-disciplined, you're gonna be able to stay focused for longer periods of the time, and therefore to achieve your goals. I also talk about the concept, what is called result-driven, because no matter how much time you spend on something, what matters at the end of the day is the results. And if you can get the results in very short period of the time, then that's fine. The job is done. You got the results. So the results is what matters at the end of the day. And the 9th and final chapter is habits. The habits are tiny things what we do, what determines what we are going to achieve. It's not this just one big thing that we do and everything changes. It's the small things performed every day in and day out. I wanted to finish this book with the habits because I think it's so important to build your life around little habits that advances you forward and helps you achieve your goals. So these were the 9 chapters of the book. If you have any questions about them, please make sure you leave the comment in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe for the channel. That was me, Janis from Driven by Goal, helping you to achieve your goals.